Obviously, we have joining us today is our head coach, Greg Fargo, and general manager, Pascal Daoust. And if you don't know me, my name's Hannah, and I am the PR coordinator for the New York Sirens. Like I said, this is the end of season and media availability following the conclusion of our season. And Greg and Pascal are here to answer any questions that you may have following that conclusion and going into the off season. Again, thank you so much for joining, and you can use the raise hand feature if you have any questions. And then we will just kind of go down the line, and I ask that you go off mute and then off camera, of course, when you are asking your question. And then please introduce yourself and the outlet in which you are associated with. Thank you again, and we will be opening the floor to questions. Carissa?
Hey, I'll start. Carissa Donkin here with CBC Sports in Canada. Thanks for making the time, both of you. Appreciate it. Just the first one for you, Pascal. First of all, can you talk a little bit about Sarah Fillier's season, what you saw from her, what you liked from her, and then sort of going into the off season, the negotiations with her, how important it is to kind of get her signed, where that ranks on your priority list.
Yeah, thanks, Carissa, for the question. Thanks for joining. Good question. Everybody was like able to appreciate not only the talent but the impact that she could have right away. So, was it a surprise for me, for us? Not at all. Probably even for herself, it was not a surprise to have success because she's done it in the past. She's done it at the international level. So, with that being said, year one is done. We're gonna sit and we definitely want to work with her for years as we wanted from the day one. So it's still on the top of our list. We want to see whether how we can create the best environment to be not only a part of, but to take charge of. New York is a great opportunity for any athletes to shine. And for an athlete like Sarah Fillier is definitely the best and the biggest market in the world to have success. So we're going to work and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that not only Sarah but any other player will be excited about playing in New York.
And just a quick follow-up, if I can, Pascal. I know we're obviously early on in your off season, but you've got an expansion draft coming up, and then you've got the entry draft. I don't know how much you know yet about what the expansion draft rules are going to be, but can you just give us a sense of your strategy going into those drafts and going into the free agency as well?
It's such a great question because there's details that need to be attached still with the league, the PA, and how we can create the best expansion draft possible. So for now, we're like more on okay, potentially having 10 and 12 scenarios. We need to aim and go back always to our values, to the culture we want to put in place, as there's a lot of talent in the league. But how can we build, well, based on the coming expansion draft? The minute we're going to have all the rules, then the next question will be how can we build the best team, not only for the coming season, but years to come. But again, as expansion is coming, we know it's going to impact not only New York, it's going to impact the other five market. To be honest, I would love to have an answer, a final strategy where we need to be open mind. We need to cover all the angles, and that's why we're going to have to sit staff together and find what are the angles we need to cover before we sit at that table.
Messi?
Merci à toi. Thank you.
Thank you, Carissa. Tyler?
Tyler Kuehl, Daily Faceoff. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Greg and Pascal, for taking the time today. I want to start with Coach Fargo here. Coach, we always talk to players, whether it be the men's or women's side. What's the adjustment going from college to the pros or to the NHL or to the PW here? For a coach's side of things, how have you learned to kind of approach the game here, coaching at the professional level? What were some of the differences to maybe how you strategize, how you come to practice? What was, I guess, the biggest change for you coming from the NCAA to the PW?
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. I appreciate the question. It's one that I've gotten often throughout the year. I think now that the season's behind us, there's even more time now to reflect on that question and to dig a little deeper. But certainly I think for me, one of the things that I really enjoyed was just the fact that we get to dive headfirst into hockey every single day with our staff, with our players. As a college coach, there's so many other aspects of the job that go into it, whether it be recruiting or things on the administrative side. But here to be able to dive headfirst into hockey every single day with a collaborative group of coaches and players was awesome. And I think now having a year under our belt as far as being in the league, competing against the other five teams and coaches and getting a sense of what it takes to be successful in this league. Really, that's going to be our main focus heading into the off season is reflecting, making the correct adjustments and figuring out where we can build upon and where we need to adjust, just so that we can be even that much more focused, I think, on day one as far as what we need to do to be successful. And I think we started to see some of the fruits of that, but there's still a lot to learn and reflect upon, and all of it being hockey and culture related that we're going to make those adjustments in the off season.
Right. And then a follow up here for Pascal. It seemed like a similar scenario, Mr. Doe, of how the Sirens kind of came out of the gate hard. They seemed like they were going to be a team that was going to be in the playoffs, and then just things kind of took a turn in the second half of the year, just like year one. What was it from your perspective, and what do you think? I guess in layman's terms, what do you think kind of went wrong for this team that ended up leading to them getting the first overall pick again?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Tyler. You know what? We sat with 26 players doing the exit meeting. We sat with the staff and trying to find exactly, and I was asking them, hey, if we could have a time machine and go back at a specific moment in the year, where would you go? And what would you change? And why? And it's not even unanimous, other than saying that the slump where we kind of couldn't find a way to put the puck in, even though we were playing good hockey, but we had like 9 losses in a row. It can exist, in any sport or team sport or a professional league, but we've had to face it. And still, I have to be honest, it was a real tough one. First time in my life, first time in many staff and players' life. But the ambience, the vibe, the commitment, the dedication, passion, everything was still there. Everybody was thinking that we're about to head out of the tunnel, and for some reason, we were still in the dark. So where, when, why, don't know exactly. For sure, when we look at our season, we definitely have numbers on our side, tons of numbers, not the numbers that as an accountant you want the numbers to the good, but numbers that expected goal for against. We're like on the top three teams in each and every department. Same with the points on the road. We've played, of course, 15 games on the road, and we have 23 points. So it's the second best record in the league. So it's pretty rare that you end sixth or last while you have that much of success on the road. So we have, I mean, we could spend an hour together, go through like major stats over there. Major reason, I don't know. Secondary scoring, is it a need? For sure, it's a need in New York. It's a need in any other market. So it's a matter of, even, I mean, there's even a stat on luck coming from Sports Logic, and luck was definitely not on our side. So I don't want to find excuse. I just feel that we have tons of reason to be proud of where we're heading at, not proud of where we are now. We would have loved to play 5 more games, and we feel that we could have been in the mix and been in the final dance. We're not. So it gives us the opportunity to step back, look, analyze, and make the decision we need to make. But we're excited about the draft because so far we're the only team who draft so far 23 players, 15 from year one, 8 on our last draft, and the 23 players were still under contract in the league. We are the only team that had 23 players under contract in the league. The second team is 18. So we're excited about the draft because that's a part that we want to invest in. And we're going to use these values plus the one we have in our lineup. We're going to have to see the impact on the expansion, and we're going to build from there. But as Greg mentioned, we have a great window of time. For the first time, we're going to have the next 5 months to work together, not moving, not building, not doing any renovation, just thinking hockey and building the best setup and the best organization we can.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Pascal.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. Mackenzie?
Hi, Mackenzie Connick with Sports Girls Club. Looking at the draft and the first pick, is there a certain style of player that you are looking for in the first overall pick this season?
Well, thanks for the question, Mackenzie. Having the privilege to pick first, I mean, you're the one that can commit, and you just pick the player you like the most or that can have the best impact on the lineup. Again, we're gonna like regroup, staff, scout. We're gonna have to regroup also once the impact from the expansion will hurt us all in a way, and we're gonna have to pick the player that fits not only with the talent but also, as I said, the culture. So this is something that we know that we have a very short list that we're gonna look at. But we need to fine tuning, do some fine tuning on like meeting with the players and making sure that we're on the same page on what we want to put in place in New York.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Kyle?
Kyle Kishman with the Score. Question for Pascal. Just kind of going off of the draft there. What have you learned over the past couple of years about the players going into a draft and kind of the characteristics that you see from these prospects that make them the best players in the PWHL over the past couple of years?
Well, every time we hear from fans the feedback on our league, we actually watch every day, every night, the very best player in the world. So coming out of college with a great career over there, still it's gonna be a huge step to join the best player every day, every night, to face the best goalies, the best D, and so on. So physicality is there for sure. As when you leave college, you spend your whole life to play against players that were like either your same age or maybe 1 year older or younger. When you reach to college, there's a group of players that are like maybe 3, 4, 5 years difference. When you join in the PW, you can like face players that are maybe 10 years older, not only with the age, but the experience, the physical, the experience, and also the capacity with the strength, the power that they have, because the more you train, the more you got. So of course it's going to be huge step adaptation. So you need to look at players that can definitely not only play but appreciate the style we have in place, which means speed, physicality. You're going to be hit more and more. So you need these players that when that happens, they don't shine away. You need them to be able to compete in April and in May. So those are not the game that you're like having in September, October in college. Those are the game that at the pro level, they are happening in May, and you're going to see pretty much the same kind of game in January. So all that is important. And then, don't expect to be playing like a fancy style, because again, you're gonna have a stick on you. You're gonna have a body coming on you. So you need to play a pro game and to understand that there's no walk in the park. There is no day off. You face the best goalies. You face the best players. So that's probably the biggest thing for any college player to join the league. And there's a lot that are excited about it, and we need to find these players.
And for Greg, when you look back on this season, what are you most proud of about the group? What was the thing that impressed you most about this group?
Yeah, I think, Kyle, there's a number of things. As Pascal mentioned earlier, I mean, um, or was spoken about, like, I think how we started the season, was something to be proud of, and coming out of the gates, 6-4 in our first 10 games, and then I thought we also finished strong, in terms of results, and we're playing some good hockey through the middle of the end of the half of the year. And through all of it, even though there was that segment in the middle of the season where we weren't getting the results necessarily that we all wanted. I thought the group stuck together. It was a resilient group. Staff, players, everybody continue to show up and look for and find ways to get ourselves out of it. So, I think, it was a resilient group overall. I really like how, we went about with some of the development of our younger players and some of our players that are now in our organization and program. I think they've continued to show a lot of growth throughout the year. Some of which have had some great experience that they're going to be able to build upon in the years to come. Um, but it's really, for us, it was a year of learning and growth, both. And I think, we're going to work really hard this off season to continue to figure out which steps we need to take moving forward to make sure we're not in this position next year.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle. Allison?
Hi, Allison with Hayes Media. For either Pedro or Greg, as a women's team that rapidly gained fans and traction in social media, what is the team culture or dynamic like that fans may not really see? And how will that carry over to next season, or what will change?
Yeah, thanks for your question, Allison. Um, Yeah, I think for fans, one of the things the PWHL does really well is it gives a really good look into the lives of the players and what they bring to the team and to the league. The interaction between players and fans is something that I think the PWHL does a great job at it, as good as any professional league out there. But I think, on a daily basis, what fans maybe don't get to see, is just how committed to the craft the players are, and how they show up every single day to be the very best at what they do. Every morning, whether it's lifts or video sessions or extra skill sessions, working on the finer details of their game, that allow them to showcase what they can do against the best players in the world. I think, as I said, the interactions with the fans are outstanding. But in my experience, just how committed the group of women that we have here in New York and that there are across the league, to continue to push the level up and raise the standard of what our players can do. I would say that our fans would be, in awe if they got a chance to follow players around for a day.
Thank you, Allison. Tyler?
Yeah, I want to go back to Greg here. I'm a former goalie, Greg, so I love talking about the attendees. So I got to ask you, do you like the fact that you have both Corinne Schroeder and Kaylee Osborne coming back for a year? Obviously, you have experience with Osborne dating back to your days at Colgate, but and even though Schroeder kind of had her bumps in the road during the season, is it kind of, as a coach, a little bit of a warm feeling knowing that you have two solid goaltenders who could be number ones, proposedly coming back to the roster next year?
Yeah, Tyler, I think, whether we're looking ahead at next year or reflecting, I think, goaltending was an area that we felt really confident about, with our group. Um, as you could see, like, both Corinne and Kaylee, both very different goaltenders in terms of how they play the game, but we felt really confident with both of them in the net and what they could provide. I think at different times, Both played pivotal roles in collecting some of the wins along the way. But to be able to, again, have that, perhaps have that opportunity to come back with both of them on our roster, and for them both to have the opportunity to learn from what they experienced this past season, especially Kaylee, who was new to the league. I think the future's bright for both of them and for our organization as long as they're a part of it. And we're hoping that we can continue to grow with both of them along the way.
Thanks, Greg. And back to Pascal here. You mentioned, obviously, Greg very glowingly talking about the goaltending here, and you mentioned secondary scoring is a need that this team has. What do you think about the blue line? Obviously, you have Shelton coming back, or at least under contract for another year. And you also have Michael Zandyhart for another year, and then you have Nyland Pearson. What would you want to improve, if anything, on the blue line for the Sirens here?
I mean, it's not about separating three departments here. It's about like merging them all together, which we found more and more through the season way that not only the decor can impact the forwards and vice versa, but I mean, you mentioned great names that we have. We're proud to have, and we hope to like save them all. But we know we won't be able, not because we don't like them, not because we don't want them back. So, we're gonna have to again regroup once we get the impact, and we're gonna have to build the best decor. As for us, the decor we had this year was not only built with great players, great teammates, great people, but great talent, short, medium, and long term. So if we could, we would save them all for the next year, and not only next year, but the coming season. So yeah, I mean we're gonna have to see, Tyler. As is, we would have liked to work with the same D for sure.
Awesome. Hannah, do I have time for one more? I just want to make sure no one else was in line there.
Absolutely, Tyler. Go for it.
Okay, just a simple one, Pascal. Do we expect to see the Sirens back in Newark this year at the Prudential Center? I know you mentioned the road record was better at home, but should we see the New York playing in the Garden State again?
Yeah, absolutely. When I was saying that we're going to spend the next 5 months building and building in a way that we're going to build the content being the hockey side, and of course the business will be involved, but we're no more going to be like putting carpet on the floor or building our desk and chairs and all that. It's going to be pure hockey. So we're going to be able to support, find a way to get even closer to the community, to our fan base, to make sure that we connect, that they know that we're there, because there's a lot of hockey fan over there, and they need to know more and more that we're New York Sirens, we're playing at Prudential, we're representing a huge market, and there's great hockey to come and watch. So that's the department that we need to be better, but we're gonna have more time to be better and to be closer, and we're gonna have to find solution. But even the Devils are like, we sat with them at the end of the season, not at the end, but mid-season, and they really want to support us. They want us to be with them. They want us to build something there. So we just need to make sure that the people know that we're there 15 games a year for home games and plus playoff next year. So we need the support, as we need to feel the same 8, 10, 12,000 that we've played on the road. But one thing for sure, at Prudential, whatever the number of fans we have, it's amazing the vibe that we're getting, the ambience over there. It's a party. It's great for the family. It's great for the kids to have new heroes to look up forward to look up. Well, I don't know how to say that properly. You're gonna have to help me here, Greg. But you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, we need people to come at Pro. We need their support, but we need to be better as well to make sure that they know we're there.
Awesome. Thank you, Pascal.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler. And to finalize questions, Holly.
Hi guys, thank you so much again for being here. Holly Rand, Hayes Sports. Questions for Greg. How did you approach instilling a team culture from day one, and how has that culture evolved by this end of this season?
Yeah, great question. I appreciate it. I think for me, coming in as a new coach this season, I really wanted to try to not necessarily um, spend a whole lot of time reflecting on what the team dynamics or culture was in the past, but really just kind of draw a new line in the sand and start to talk about who we wanted to be as a team from day one. And even from our very first meeting together, um, in at Cody Arena, as we all got a chance to see the facilities for the first time, we talked about really just showing up and being on every single day. Being true professionals in every sense of the that way, and coming to work to have a growth mindset and continue to find ways to get better throughout the entirety of a season. And I think we were really fortunate to have some exceptional leaders in the room that helped carry that forward throughout the entire year. Um, Professionals like Micah Zandy Hart, our captain, and who just instilled everything that you want, from a leader, someone that comes to work every day to continue to fine tune her game and continue to grow. And I really think that our team embodied that. And I do think that as there are areas to continue to grow on the ice, there's going to be ways that we reflect and look at ways we can grow off the ice in terms of culture as well. And but I'm excited about that because we've got great people in place, both at the staff level and the player level. And I know for sure that we can continue to take strides there, and it'll all have an impact on how we perform on the ice.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Holly. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. This will conclude our end of season media availability. Thank you to everyone for following along with the Sirens this season and your amazing continuous reporting. We really appreciate it. Please stay tuned. I'm available for any virtual media availability over the off season, whether that be with Pascal, Greg, or any of our players. Please reach out at newyorkmedia@thepwhl.com. Thank you all so much for your time, and this concludes our session. Thank you so much, Pascal and Greg, for your time.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you all.
Thank you.